Hey y'all, Tiffanie Kellog here for another amazing conversation that I'm super excited to get to have with a woman entrepreneur loving the life that she gets to live child free. And today we are joined by Lily. Welcome, Lily. So glad to have you with us.
Hi, thank you so much for having me in this completely unconventional way. I am loving the on the fly energy that we have going on here.
Yeah, sometimes people are like, all right, is there interview questions? Is there, what's the format? And y'all, like, I barely make it through the bio most of the time. I used to have questions like, here's the questions that we're asked. And I'm like, okay, here's what we're going to do at like 22 minutes in and right before we go. But there is no telling where we're going to end up. And I think as women entrepreneurs living child free, we are much more go with the flow. We do get to do that a little bit more frequently in life.
Definitely, we get to follow our intuition and have it lead to awesomeness. Because let's be honest, if we follow our intuition, like, and we're authentic to ourselves, it always ends up well. Maybe not what we thought, but well.
Well, we don't always know what's going on. So let me, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, y'all, reading on the screen in front of you. So while Lily was born with certain gifts, talking to spirits and seeing energy, it wasn't until, it wasn't a straight line to success. The hurdles are what makes life interesting and gain insight into helping others. So I didn't want us to get too far in before we got started. So tell us a little bit about this. Tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
So I am an intuitive advisor to multimillionaires and pro athletes, and I love what I do. I was born with my gifts. I was born being an intuitive and a psychic medium. And there was a quote in a book recently that was, "You're born with your abilities, proficiency comes with practice." And I resonated with that so much that it was, we're all born with intuition, but it's a muscle. If you don't build it, if you don't nurture it, it's not going to help you with your life. And it's meant to help you with everything. Intuition is, and following your own gut instincts, because that's what's the most valid in your own life, is how you feel and it aligns with your values. And it's it's meant to help you get out of like really big, huge, serious things. Like for me, my intuition saved my life more than once. It got me out of trauma, out of abuse, out of really dangerous situations, and I followed my intuition to do that. But I also use my intuition to pick what socks I'm going to wear every day and what food I eat.
All right,
And
wait. You said the S word, so socks. So we have to pause there, y'all, because for those of you that don't know me well yet, socks are a big thing in my world. I've got over 400 pair of them. How in the world can I use intuition to pick my socks? We just have to pause because socks, intuition, stop.
yes, and it actually starts with the misconception that intuition and manifesting and everything woo needs to be big, and the heavens will open up and angels will sing. Ah, I know that is not the way it goes. The vast majority of the time, you are following little nudges and you're doing small steps. It's not, there will be things that change your life, but not everything will. And the thing that I think is funny with you interviewing me is that in every class about intuition, I always tell people, I'm like, start by manifesting socks. Start by intuitively picking what socks you're going to wear for the day. I always have people, that's where your intuition starts, people. It starts with socks. It starts, and you ask yourself, so one of the biggest, the first thing that I manifested, this is still one of the, I have manifested a house, I've manifested a BMW, I have manifested an international business. The first big thing, I was super poor and I really wanted Bomba socks, and they were out of my price range. And I told the universe, I'm like, any way I can get a set. And I got them for my birthday from somebody. And I didn't ask this person for socks. And that was so powerful for me. Socks were like the most validating thing about my spiritual journey that I could imagine. And I was just like, yes, manifesting is real and I can have anything I want because I got socks. And I still get excited about it because it was so awesome. And so you can manifest socks and then like show gratitude and validate yourself, and then you'll manifest bigger things. Everyone always wants to manifest a mansion or $1 million first. bitch, start with socks. And for intuition, if you have 400, 400, okay. So if you have 400 pairs of socks, or
Okay,
40,
most people probably don't have 400 pairs of socks to choose from.
so you would follow your intuition. My guess is that they are not all the same style. That you're a variety is the spice of life kind of sock. And so every morning, ask your intuition, what does my soul need? Does it need an ankle sock? Does it need and go with that, or color? So you just start asking your soul these questions, and it'll answer them. And then when it turns out right, it's so validating. And a lot of times it's the little answers that will change your life as opposed to big things that it's like, oh my God, should I take that promotion or should I move? Let me tell you what, I picked socks for an event, and I was like, all right, I honor my intuition. I will follow it into hell if that's where it says I need to go. And so I picked a pair of socks. I wore them with these cute little kitten heels. And I was like, I didn't know why. You don't need to know why. You don't need to know why your intuition works. Just honor it. And I ended up running so much that day at the event because there were like emergencies, there were gate crashers, there was security issues, and they were a lot of very serious problems that was not like power walk to, it was dead sprint.
Mm.
And my feet had blisters on them by the end. And I just looked at those socks and I'm like, those saved me from like having to take off my shoes or having like a real injury. I only had blisters, which sounds like, oh my God, that's awful. I'm like, no, I could have broken an ankle. Like I
Yeah.
was sprinting in heels. And so it's like socks can save your life.
Well, I love the fact that we are so heavily talking about socks today, y'all, because that's just so appropriate conversation to have with me. And so I know you kind of said, do I feel like wearing ankle socks or not? Asking and listening to your intuition, which sounds well from a, hey, this is what you should do, but how do we actually ask? And how does our intuition answer in a way that we need to hear? Because it's not always what you would typically think of an answer as an entity with a voice behind
Yeah, a lot of times there's not like the angel and devil on your shoulders going
it.
like, choose this one. No, choose that one. Choose the hooker heel. You always look good in those. No, you don't. I look good in a kitten heel. I honor that style.
Wait. Does anybody really look good in a hooker heel, or or I just assume that everybody else is waiting for you to break your ankle because like that's what I see when I see the. Maybe that's just me though.
I have a few friends who look good in them and they're used to walking in them. And so they're like, they can squat and like pick up something off the floor really quickly. And I'm sitting there going, dude, I would have like gotten on all fours and then like picked it up and then like shoved it in my bra and then like asked someone to lift. I would have held my hands up and like, someone lift, someone lift. But no, there are certain people, certain very more talented than me.
Yeah, maybe
Who
I'm
can
just
do
like
it.
I see them and just think injury.
Yeah, I'm always like, I'd break an ankle. I'd, and they don't. And I'm like, superpower.
Good point. Good point. All right.
So how everyone's intuition sounds different and looks different, and that is the big problem, honestly, with social media right now is that there are so many people who claim to be gurus and experts, and they're like, this is the way it's going to look. Bitch, you don't know me. You don't
Mhm.
know what kind of energy I flow with, and I don't know what kind of energy you flow with. A really cool thing. So if you were to lay out different color socks or different style socks like on your bed, you could feel which one like pulled you towards it and be like, oh yeah, that's it. Or you may like feel like a little tingle, like, oh, the pink one, yeah. Or it may be like you run your. I know lots of people who like run their hands over things, and the one that either like warms up their hand or feels tingly will be the one that they are meant to go with. And a lot of people ask then, well, how do I know which style is mine? Trial and error. I really wish there was a cheat code. But all I can do is give you a list of examples, and then you try them, and then you realize, oh yeah, that one's me. That one feels right.
I love the idea, and it's interesting because sometimes life just is putting things in my world, and so muscle testing is something that keeps coming up. And somebody else was talking about a pendulum for the testing, so I'm just thinking about, okay, yeah, I could totally see on like,
Yep.
okay, what speaks to me, narrowing down, do I want ankle socks? Okay, and out of my ankle socks, let's narrow it down. But I could also probably use the dogs. All right, dogs. Could the dogs pick? Or does that go outside my intuition?
So your intuition is yours. They would use their instinct to pick, and a lot of times we are very connected to our animals, so they do know us very well. It is very much a different flavor. So it's not using your intuition, it would be using the dog's instinct. But let's be honest, our pets love us and they know us pretty well.
Now I'm envisioning like experiments for the next few weeks of, okay, which dog gets to pick, a week with each one picking and a week with me picking of my socks, playing around. So I like to have fun with stuff like this. And I feel like the more people do, the more that they can kind of play around with this. So talk to us a little bit more about how you work with your clients, what it is that you help them create. I know we got a little sidetracked with a very fun sock detour conversation, but I love the fact it's a very basic conversation of something so simple, but we have to do on a daily basis unless we truly have just one kind of sock.
Yeah, and socks are a great example. And I'm going off on a side tangent anyway. Um,
Go.
every everyone wants to make things complicated.
Mm.
Everyone wants to make things, because if you put more effort into it, that means it has more value, or that means it's meant to be big. And of course, it should be stressful, and of course, you should look constipated when you do it, because that means that you're exerting as much of it. Dude, I laugh, I have fun, I dance around. Your intuition, like, it's everyone's like, okay, and get as quiet. Oh, oh no, blah. That works for some people, and that is awesome. It doesn't work for everybody. Your intuition can be silly. Your intuition can, like, it's kind of like your inner voice that some people it's like, yes, queen, yes, you go. And other people's are like, yay. Neither of those are wrong. But
Right.
so many people think that it needs to be done in a silent place with yoga music, and that is one style. But if that's not your style, like, I play this morning to get into the groove for this interview, Pink Pony Club.
Pink Pony Club.
Yep, there was no yoga poses. There was no there was nope. I listened to Pink Pony Club. I'm gonna keep on dancing, and I was like, yes, okay, I am
Like I've
ready.
never even heard of them. Are they like new and popular and I'm just old? Or are they kind of not mainstream?
It's a it's a new popular song,
New
um,
popular song, all right.
and it's just fun and funky. And and the person who sings it escapes me right now. Please put in the comments if you know. Uh, but they partnered with like Elton John to do this song live once. It's just, it can be fun. It can be silly. Like, you can giggle when you talk to spirits. You can cuss. Oh my goodness! Like, you can drop the f bomb and still be just as intuitive. It's finding what works for you and what feels right. If someone said I could never cuss again, I'd be like, shit, really? Um, damn. Like, give me. I need a minute. Let me think of
When
how
does
to
that
be
even
authentic.
start?
Yeah, it's like, how can I be authentic without the F word? And I can be. It just takes a lot more effort. And your intuition isn't meant. It's meant to be a practice of proficiency, but it's not meant to be effort. It's meant to just, once you do it, once you build that muscle, it is so much easier just to use it and know. And an example just from today, I had this outfit planned. I am going live at an event, and so I wanted the outfit planned, and I wanted it to be cohesive and stuff. And the shoes I picked were plain colored, and they matched. They were a dark blue. They matched the outfit. And I looked in the mirror, and I was like, "This does not resonate with my soul." And I put on, I don't know.
Oh, let's see.
Oh,
Hold on. You should do it again. Like, how can we get you? Oh, I like it. Yeah.
they are, there is rainbow thread on them. They are studded. It has zippers. It's dark leather that's distressed, and it looks nothing like the shoe that I picked. Because when I put on my outfit, I'm like, oh, this doesn't resonate with me. And even though I had planned it and it matched and it looked good, I'm like, this doesn't feel
Yeah.
right. And then I just looked at my line of shoes and I'm like, intuition, point them out. And it was these. They're new. I've never worn them before, and I didn't want to wear them to an event because I didn't want to break in shoes at in Minneapolis, which is where I live, and I'm at a big convention center in Minneapolis where there's a lot of walking. And I was like, I don't want to, like, that'll hurt my feet. They're comfy, they're fun. I feel so much more empowered in these shoes than I would have in the plain ones, and I feel better about myself because of that.
How do we listen to that intuition versus continuously second guess ourselves? Because I know there's a lot of people that, like, I always hear about people talk about taking tests. I was taught, if I have a gut instinct answer, that's the answer. And then I move on to the next one. But I hear people all the time, well, I second guessed and I went back and changed. But how do we know that? Because sometimes our first answer, though, is also not the right answer. And we needed that time to let it marinate and realize that was a dumb answer to begin with. Like, how do we know? Are we being wishy-washy? Are we listening to our intuition? How do we tell the difference?
So self-doubt kills intuition quicker than anything else. It is insidious and it lives inside us, and that's the problem. It's that little voice that says, maybe you made it up. What if you're wrong? You look stupid. Like, it is this voice that you're just like, really? And the thing is that that's coming from a place of ego and not alignment. And again, it's trial and error. Everyone is different, but it's also trial and error because you think of intuition like a muscle. And when you're at the gym and you're first starting out, let's be honest, we all look weird. Like, I still remember my first time on a row machine, and I was just like, what's the, like, I will not say what I said because it's like too many cussing in a row, and this is going to get flagged as a live. And but I was like, what? How do you? And do I bend? And what? What? How? It feels weird. I don't like it. And then my friend was with me, and they told me how to do it in what form and stuff, and it felt so weird. And they're like, yeah, but you sit up straight, you engage your core, you move. And I was like, this feels weird. So it may feel weird at first, just like exercising feels weird at first. Building a muscle, it's not meant to feel natural right away. So what you do is you start with, we're running with the socks. So you start with socks and you pick the socks and they work. You validate that and you show gratitude. So you stop and take a minute and you go, oh, that works. Yay, go me, go my intuition. Thank you, universe, for helping me with this. And then that helps to build it. And then the self doubt moves into the background. And so for every yes, every affirmation, every validation, stop and acknowledge it. And then that will cause the self doubt to go down. So it's not so much like in the moment, it's like, oh, I know this is self doubt. I know this is intuition. You follow what you think is your intuition, and then if it works out, you're like, that's what intuition feels like, and you just keep getting more and more familiar with it.
So I want to ask one question and then you got an amazing gift for us. But I love to poke the devil because I like to have those fun conversations because we're talking about, intuitive and intuition. Sometimes people are like, that's woo. Where's the science to this? I mean, isn't this just kind of all made up stuff? Like
So the
intuition
awesome,
is like hokey pocus. It doesn't really work kind of
oh,
thing.
it's all fluffy woo woo. So here's I there are several famous examples. Um, so Michael Jordan wore his UNC shorts underneath his Bulls uniform for every single game, and it's like, oh, that's superstition. Nope, it put him in the mindset. It neurologically, his brain activated. It's the same with Serena Williams and wearing the same socks for an entire tournament. Yay, socks! Socks have
Yeah,
magical
back
power.
again.
President Ronald Reagan had an astrologer who set his schedule. There are literally dozens of interviews where the most successful entrepreneurs say the most valuable thing is their gut instinct. They follow their intuition. And so let me tell you what, if it works for a president of the United States, if it works for some of the best athletes in the world, if it works for some of the best entrepreneurs and business people in the world, it'll work for me. Like, I'm good with that. Because that's the thing. People are like, it's woo. And it's like, even if it is, if it works, who gives a shit? Like, there are so many examples because what it is yes, it's woo and it's fluffy, but it's also based in neuroscience. It's also based in psychology. Yes, it's like, oh my gosh, you have a lucky charm. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, someone's sitting there with a fidget spinner and they feel great because they're stimming and they're regulating their ADHD to be able to focus. That is a talisman. That is a lucky charm. It's both. It's a both and. So people who say like, "Oh, this is so unreal," it's like I can give you all the woo examples and then tell you how they are real and literal and psychological and neurological, which, in my humble opinion, is what makes me different than other people who are on the internet or spreading misinformation. Is they're like, oh no, it's all woo and fluff, and I'm like, look at the science too. Like, they're friends, they hold hands, they cuddle, like they are best friends.
Well, and I ask that because I think people sometimes get a little like, oh, like who would have coaches? I'm like, the best have coaches. Like Michael Jordan is one of those ones. Like he always had a coach, different coaches for different things, because that's what you do to get better. It's the ones that invest in themselves and pay attention and work on the stuff that makes a difference. The small minded are ones that stay the same.
Yep, I always tell people because, like I said, a lot of my clients are multimillionaires and pro athletes. I always say, if you see someone and they take their phone and they move it down underneath the table or whatever, they're texting me or someone like me. They're they're asking, when what's the full moon? Why am I anxious? Can you send me Reiki? Can we do a tarot reading? They they do that. I have been texted in courtrooms during lawsuits, and it's been like, can you read the energy of the room real quick? Like, and then they customize their defense based off of the energy in the room, and they win. They win every time. And so you utilize the tools that are given to you and that you resonate with. Because some people, it's like, oh my gosh, it's all astrology or all tarot or all intuition, and it's like, just go with what feels right to you. Go with what's effective to you. Some people love a pendulum. Some people hate it. I have one client who can't make it spin for the life of her, but she loves dowsing rods with the passion of a thousand suns. I'm like, yes, we'll get you dowsing rods. I'll get you custom dowsing rods. Let's do it.
There is so much stuff that you could be doing to help us out. But y'all, it is getting to that time where we've got to begin to wrap up. I know we could continue the conversation. However, we do have something to help us continue or even jumpstart the conversation. So Lily has an amazing gift for us. Tell us a little bit about this. And y'all, wherever you're watching this, in the description, the link is already there. So you can just find it, click on it, and get it. Tell us about it, please, Lily.
So, a huge thing that people don't understand about intuition and self care and everything that goes into your connection to the universe and following your intuition is that having a solid foundation is key. And a lot of people don't know what goes into that. And so, the workbook offered is a way to jumpstart that. It's a way to look at self care and your intuition and be like, what are my goals for this? What are my goals for it? Because my goals will look different than yours and everybody else's. And then it gives you a meditation to keep you grounded and in the present moment. It gives you just these little bite-sized pieces because let's be honest, we are all busy. So it gives you digestible pieces to help you build your intuition and your self-care, which feeds your intuition to be able to be the most effective version of yourself.
Awesome. So yes, please y'all go click on this link, get this information and start being the best, not start being the best, begin the next step. I'm always like, okay, next step, the next level of the journey that we have in our life, being the best you that you can. Now, where can people find you online or how can we reach out and get in touch?
So it's Lily of the Light, and I am on social media. I am a good millennial. I am on social media, and it's Lily Lily of the Light, which is very controversial. I always tell people I am like the flower, not the drug company, and so everyone's like Lily, and I'm like, no, sorry, no, Lily, like the flower, and that is the easiest way to find me. All the handles are the same because I wanted to make it easier for me.
I love it, love it, love it. And part of the joy of being this first generation of being on social media is we've been able to snag up. I'm thinking of like 3, 4 generations from now. Like people are going to have all kinds of funky things in their name for how do you find on social media, but actually they'll probably do it like eyeball retinas and you won't even need names anymore on social. Oh my gosh, y'all. I am going too far in the future. Let's just go. Sorry, little something there. We are going to go now to Lily to have her give us what is it that we need to know before she goes. So Lily, coming over to you, what else do we need to know?
So, what I always tell people the most important thing to remember is start small and validate and show gratitude. There is no end to the potential that you have with your intuition, but start small. There is no reason to move a mountain right now. Just pick out your socks and celebrate the fact that you have socks.
I love it. Thank you so very much for being here. Thank you so very much for having so much fun with us, talking about our intuition, talking about our socks. Y'all, if you are enjoying hanging out with these amazing women, we do every month have an event as well as we're hanging out on Facebook and other places, Women Entrepreneurs Living Child Free. You can find us, come hang out with us, come network with us, and we will enjoy that business space without the mommy conversations. All right, Lily, thank you so much for being here. I will see the rest of y'all next week.